Hi, we will be creating these two progress bars. The first is Determinate and the other is Indeterminate progress bar. So in this first one, you know how much progress has been made. For example, this is at 50% progress, and in the Indeterminate progress bar, you do not know how much progress has been made. So you just show a continuous animation. So first we'll create this Determinate progress bar. So let's set up the HTML. So we'll just have a div with progress bar class and another div with indicator class inside of it. Then in the CSS we'll give the progress bar a width and height, a background color, and a little margin to place it in the center, and a border radius of 50 pixels for those rounded corners. Then for the indicator we'll just have a width and height of 100% and a background color. Then you also need to hide the overflow on the progress bar because the indicator is overflowing on the sides because of the border radius. And that's it. Now we can just change this width of the indicator to show a certain amount of progress, for example 50%, and we'll do that with JavaScript. So let's just change this width to 0%, and in JavaScript first we'll get the progress bar element using query selector. Then let's add a set timeout function, and after 3 seconds we'll change the indicator's width to 50%. So we'll get the progress bar and its indicator using query selector, then change its width to 50%. Let's do 30%. As you can see, after 3 seconds the indicator changes its width to 30%, indicating a 30% progress. Now let's add a transition on the indicator so that it smoothly animates to that 30% width. And now if we reload, it animates instead of jumping to that 30% width. And that's how you can create a progress bar. Now what you can do is create a progress bar class which takes a class name and an initial amount of progress. Then you get that progress bar from the document, get the indicator and also the progress, and save it in the object. And you have a set progress function, a method which you can call to change the amount of progress by simply passing the progress in the parameters. Now let me show you how you can use this progress bar class. So let's say you have a progress bar that shows the experience you have in a skill. So you just create a progress bar object, pass in the class name that the progress bar has, and just call the set progress method to give it a certain amount of progress. Then let me just give the experience class to our progress bar in the HTML. And if I reload now, you can see it progresses to 50% after 2 seconds. Now let's create our second progress bar, which is the indeterminate progress bar. Now we will only need HTML and CSS for that because we will be using CSS animation to animate that bar moving from left to right. Now for the HTML we'll have a div with progress bar class and a loading class, and inside of it we'll have another div with bar class. And then in the CSS we'll give the progress bar a position relative so that we can give position absolute to our bar and we can move it left and right using left and right properties. Then for the bar we'll give it a background color width and height, and position absolute with top and left properties. Now we'll create the animation where we will just change this left property to move it left and right. We'll call this animation loading. Then at 0% we'll have left property at 0. Then at 100% we will have left at 100%. And that's it. Now we can just give this animation to our bar using animation property. We will have 1 second of duration is in, out, and we want this to animate continuously, like for infinite time. And there we have the animation. We can actually give the left property minus 50 pixel value. So 50 pixel is the width of the bar, so we can move it outside of the loading bar. So when the animation starts, the bar appears from outside the progress bar. And that's it. That's how you can create an indeterminate progress bar. Now you can just play around with properties to have a different animation. For example, you can add alternate reverse, so that it goes from 0 to 100%, and then instead of jumping back to 0%, it will go back, animate from 100% to 0. So that's how you create these two types of progress bar. Thanks.